Let me make sure everyone knows I'm live before I actually start. It's pretty important, so bear with me 1 second. Indie News Network, a collaborative family of independent content creators, co-hosted only by me, Indie. I'm founder and editor of Indie Left News and Indie Media Today. I got Reese Williams sitting next to me. We're all founding members, like I said, of the Indie News Network. My name is Jesse Jeff. It's American tradition. Subspace Monkeys. Welcome to Political Fight Club. I'm Robert Durden. Go to malenplane.com. Welcome to another episode of The Show Your Parents Warned You About. It's Reef After Dark. As is Tommy with Tommy Politics, I mostly make art, Brian, and Big Man Cram Show. Keep up with those great videos. I'm Tommy of the YouTube channel Tommy's Diary. This is Andrew Rivera. I'm the handsome Cynic. Say hi, everyone. Hey guys, it's Yeti. Coming at you. It's Politics of Survival. This is Chris Legion, and peace out. So everyone should know. Give everyone a minute or two to get on before I start. So do 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 do. So I'm giving everyone a chance to get on the stream because I just don't want to. I'll give it a minute or two more. Do 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 do. All right, so getting ready to start here. How's everyone doing? Everything good? Good, good, good. Yep, there it is. And small. I don't really like it like that. So, no. I think it's best like that. So we're just going to leave it like that. What about this? Nah. Nah, way too small. Alright, well, there you go. So, hey man, how are you? Hey there. So, in today's episode, thanks for watching, everyone. I'm gonna get rid of all that shit. So, that's good to hear. How are you? So, yeah, I'm just waiting to make sure everybody gets on. A few people get on before we start. But I'm going to be discussing, as you can see here, the first story. China's top leader Xi Jinping has cast himself as global statesman. Now he's wading into what was it? Into Russia's war in Ukraine, but potentially positioning himself as a mediator to help end the protracted fight. So that's basically what we're doing here. And the New York Times is gonna try to frame the story as a negative story, of course, because how dare you try to get peace? So let's see here. That's good. Just ignore this comment here. Alright, so let's do this. Let me open up the article. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. Bear with me 1 second. Alright, here we go. Hopefully I can read this article without... Get rid of this. Are you kidding me?
goddamn New York Times and their fucking. Let me see. Do I already have a friggin'. No, I don't. Who cares, man? Alright, so bear with me 1 second. For some reason, I can't read this article without actually logging in. Stupid ass New York Times. Lordy, lordy, lord. Goddamn New York Times. I'm not paying for your stupid newspaper. I should be able to read articles without having to pay for your goddamn newspaper. I don't want to subscribe. Here we go. Sorry about that. Get rid of that. Stupid shit. What? Get rid of that. Now we should be able to read this article. I hate New York Times, or at least read some of it. I'm not going to read this whole thing. But yeah, they like I said, they try to make this seem like a negative. If you read the subheadline, China's top leader Xi Jinping is expected to meet with President Vladimir Putin of Russia next week and speak with President Zelensky of Ukraine. So, yep, no peace, no peace. So let's get into this. Some of this. All right. China's top leader Xi Jinping has cast himself as a global statesman, helping Saudi Arabia and Iran broker a deal to restore diplomatic ties while extolling the virtues of Chinese solutions and wisdom in solving the world's biggest security challenge. Now, Mr. Xi is putting himself in the center of Russia's war with Ukraine, working to portray himself as a mediator who could cool down the protracted fight. The Chinese leader is expected to meet in person next week with President Vladimir Putin of Russia and call President Zelensky of Ukraine could follow. China has already proposed a peace settlement, although it does not address important details. As such, whether Russian troops would withdraw in announcing Mr. Xi's visit to Russia. Chinese officials said it was for the sake of peace. At stake for Beijing is a push for legitimacy as leader of the alternative world order, one of the dominated by the United States, and a role it sought with growing urgency to resist what Mr. Xi described as Washington containment, encirclement, and suppression of China. Where are they? Where's China? Where's the Chinese government wrong though? Clearly, they've decided. I mean, the United States decided to encircle China with their military ships and to help Taiwan and arm them with weapons, even though clearly that's a violation of the One China policy, which basically holds that Taiwan's a part of China officially. So, yep, let's possibly start a war with Russia, one nuclear armed power, and the United States wants to start another war with China, another nuclear armed power. Great. This shows how fucking dangerous Democratic presidents are. Because I guarantee you, if Hillary Clinton became president, we've been at war with Russia 4 years ago, or a direct war with Russia in 2017-18. Because if you remember back in 2016, Hillary Clinton wanted to put a no-fly zone over Syria, which would have taken approximately 150,000 troops, so boots on the ground in Syria. And on top of that, it would have shot down a bunch of Russian planes, which Putin wasn't going to put up with. So World War III would have started by now. And we probably wouldn't be here speaking right now, but I'll be dead because of nuclear conflict. So, yeah, and now here we go with Biden again, trying to start a new war. This time, one war with Russia, another one with China. It's perfect. Absolutely perfect, huh? All right. Skepticism abounds in the West about Mr. Xi's intentions on the war, giving his conflicting goals and interests. Beijing has never condemned Russia's invasion. Why would they? Clearly, Russia had legitimate reasons to go in. You may not like that. You may think that it wasn't. She shouldn't have gone in anyways, but he had legitimate reasons, like I discussed in the last stream on Wednesday. So I don't know why they're acting like Beijing needs to condemn Russia invasion. How about the rest of the world condemning the United States for all our invasions? No, no one demands us. No one demands the rest of the world to condemn the United States for all our invasions. And parrots the Kremlin's assertion that war was provoked by the expansion of North American Treaty Organization, or NATO. Again, that's not the only reason why that Russia invaded, and they act like it's not a legitimate reason. Like See, it says parrots the Kremlin's assertion that war was provoked by the expansion of North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Excuse me. So, like, Kremlin's assertion, like they're lying or something. No, we did this, made that up. NATO's never dared to provoke Russia, ignoring the last 10. That's not the only thing they've done. What they've done, what NATO is the coup in 2014, like I talked about on Wednesday, but I'm going to go through it again. The massacre of ethnic Russians in eastern Ukraine, the Maidan massacre, where they killed hundreds of innocent Russian-speaking people for no reason. The Ukrainian government has done horrifying things to the Russian population. They try to ban the Russian language, even. So the idea that Ukraine hasn't done anything to provoke this is just absolutely ridiculous and absurd. Let's see here. Thank you very much for everyone for that. Thank everyone for watching. If you do me a favor, could you like the stream, and I would appreciate that. That it helps with the algorithm. Now, Mr. Xi's visit will occur even as more signs of global polarization over Russia take shape. On Friday, the International Criminal Court issued an arrest warrant for Mr. Putin on accusations of war crimes in Ukraine conflict. See, that's another thing, but I'm going to talk about that in a minute. It's another issue that's been going on. Breaking news there. And NATO allies of Ukraine have promised even more resources to Ukraine to help repel Russian forces, including Poland's and Slovakia's intention to send fighter jets to Ukraine. Oh yeah, let's escalate the war further by all means. Unbelievable. These people are out of their minds. The West is insane. They're absolutely insane. They're out of their goddamn minds. Like, are you kidding me? You're gonna send fighter jets? For what? For what reason? To continue a losing war, which also Ukraine's going to lose one way or another? Everyone knows that. Even the West knows that. They've admitted to it. And still they're just taking all our money and flushing it down the toilet. It'd be more useful if they spent that money on hookers. Honestly. It'd be more useful than to fucking just throw it on the toilet in Ukraine. Both Russia and Ukraine look at China as potentially a transformative power, one with enough clout to break the impasse. But both Moscow and Kyiv are also keenly aware that China could fundamentally alter dynamics in the battlefield if it plays a more direct role in replenishing Moscow's badly depleted arsenal. I don't know where they base that of, because it seems like the Russians are winning the war. I don't know why they're like badly depleted arsenal. I don't know where that's coming from. Just maybe more Western propaganda. China's international influence as great power is required for peace now more than ever, said Xi Jinhong, professor of international relations at Renmin University in Beijing, reflecting Beijing's own sense of growing global importance following the deal between Tehran and Riyadh. Tehran. La, la, la. The rest of this is kind of just boring stuff here. Analysts said unlikely China would take the risk of supplying Moscow weapons and ammunition unless Russian forces were facing collapse. Beijing is prepared to back Mr. Putin, but only enough to help him remain in power and preserve a united front against the West. Okay, the rest of this is just unimportant, really, for my point. But my point is, the New York Times is basing this. It's like this isn't a negative light. Like, oh my God, they're trying to actually get peace and trying to take over the United States as the world police. Hey, what's up, Indy? They try to take over being the world police from the United States and actually get peace. How dare they, right? You can't get peace. You can't get peace in Ukraine. We're still funding the war here in the West. We're still throwing all our money and resources down the toilet. So yeah, that's what we're doing, and let us continue throwing our money down the toilet. Let us continue printing trillions of dollars, giving it to the Ukrainians, and throwing it down the toilet. That's what we please, China. Let us keep doing that for no reason, other than just the West is going to face collapse over this. I mean, if China gets this peace deal, an actual peace deal, the Western influence in the world is pretty much over at that point. The West are becoming relevant. So. But the United States do everything they can to stop peace. I guarantee you, they're not going to just let the Chinese try to just seriously get peace. It's like, no peace. All right, so now get rid of that for now. Now I want to get the next story I want to talk about. Here we go. Let me actually try to share the page so you guys can see it. All right, here we go. Is this not big enough? Oops. No, I don't want that. Um, no reading list. All right, that's good. Good. Breaking news: the International Criminal Court has issued an arrest warrant for President Putin of Russia for war crimes. The court said Putin bore individual criminal responsibility for the abduction and deportation of Ukrainian children. I actually talked about this on Wednesday, and there's no evidence for any of this. The United States is allegedly has evidence for this, but they've been hiding it for because they're afraid, like I talked about on Wednesday, that there's a the U.S. could U.S. shoulders soldiers, excuse me, could face prosecution over our war crimes. So they don't want to give up this evidence that they allegedly have. Now here we go. Now the International Criminal Court must have allegedly some sort of evidence for this prosecution. Allegedly, again, I don't know why Putin would actively kidnap Ukrainian children so he can piss off the United States further and further draw us into a conflict. It's like I said on Wednesday. If you remember the story how we got into the first Gulf War, they found allegedly that there was a witness, a young girl, young teenager, young adult, young teenager, young girl, young adult. Jesus, I'm all over the place. A young adult, a girl that in her early 20s that basically said she saw Iraqi children or Iraqi soldiers boot children and kill children and throw them to the ground, babies. And that led to directly into the invasion of Iraq in the first Gulf War. Turns out none of that was true. It was all bullshit, all propaganda. The young lady that testified turned out to be the daughter of the ambassador of Kuwait, which wanted the war. So she was never in Iraq. So I don't. So that this is a total lie, total propaganda. This sounds just like that. Somehow Putin is responsible for kidnapping and deportation of Ukrainian children. For what? For what ends? What, he's going to execute Ukrainian children? This sounds just like that. Like here we go again with the what about the children propaganda? That the West always does to justify war. It sounds just like that. Is there an article on this? Let me see. Live updates. Okay. Let's do that. Let's do that. All right, so I'm going to read this, and then when I tweeted, what the hell? You gotta be kidding me. Again, you reached your limit of free articles. Fuck you. Um, but yeah, that's not. Anyways, Putin was indicted again. Indicted or now has an arrest warrant. So basically, he can't go to any Western country, or else they would hand him right over to the ICC into Brussels. So now he can't go to any other country because, or else he's screwed. He's gonna face arrest. But what's funny is I faced a lot of hate. I got a lot of mean tweets over pointing this out that there's no evidence really for any of this, and it's just the United States pushing more propaganda against in order to justify their war against Russia. So I'm gonna actually show you some of the hate, and then I'll discuss it. Let's go to my mentions because I got a lot of mentions here. Then I'll respond to them. Whoops, Jesus Christ! I'll respond to them, one at a time. It's a bunch of them, as you can see here. So let's see. Oh, this is hilarious. Somebody sent me a Ukrainian government official tweets acting like that's evidence. Let me start because there's a ton of them. I got so many notifications that it was just super annoying. I thought about muting them, but I didn't. So, here we go. No, it goes down even further. Jesus Christ. It goes down even further. I mean, I got so many tweets that I just. Alright, I think that's it. Yeah, it's around here. Read the goddamn article, motherfucker. What article? Hold on. There is no article here. It says breaking the Hague and Associated Press. International Criminal Court issued arrest warrant for Russian President Putin because of his actions in Ukraine. Based on what? The U.S. never provided any evidence to the alleged war. And this guy, read the goddamn article. There's no article here, dumbass. So that's a nice try. Uh, So let's see. I'm going to go up. The U.S. doesn't have to provide evidence. Yeah, the U.S. doesn't have to provide evidence. They had other UN inspectors come in and document the genocide of Bucha. I don't know what genocide she's referring to, but it's kind of like the chemical gas attack at in Syria, in Duma rather. I think it was Duma. Yeah, just a fake criminal chemical gas attack. What about arresting Fauci, Obama, Schwab, Gates, Clinton, Soros, Trudeau, Johnson, and Arden? Okay, I mean, if they get arrested for their war crimes, I have no problem. The U.S. doesn't have to. Oh no, of course, we control the UN, NATO, the internet, and the ICC, and somehow we don't have to provide the evidence. Ridiculous. I like this tweet. I already retweeted it. I don't think The Hague has credibility anymore. It seems every institution is paid and corrupt, especially the UN, NATO, and the USA. Yeah, I mean, why in the world would you trust anything that comes out of the ICC? The U.S. doesn't have to provide anything. It's called the International Criminal Court for a reason. The world isn't run by the U.S. Ha! The world isn't run by the U.S. Are you fucking kidding me? We probably run the UN, the ICC, NATO. I mean, we fund I think about 60% of the UN's budget. So I don't know I don't know what this claim is that the U.S. doesn't run NATO. This is the stupidest thing I read on the internet. Again, it's this. It's this tweet. It's this tweet. Everybody's responding to my tweet here. And they're ratioing me. Look at that. 8 likes and 62 responses. I got ratioed, motherfuckers. Look at that. Alright, so these are not responses to me, okay. Not everything on the planet revolves around the US. I agree. But the US seems to think that the UN and the ICC and NATO tend to, and Europe tends to think so. Tends to think so. God, it sounds like I'm drunk. I can't even speak properly. Probably stemming from this. Oh, here, finally, somebody sent me the article I can read. Good God. So let's actually look at this, because instead of just calling me names and stuff, somebody bothered to send me the article. UN-backed inquiry accuses Russia of war crimes in Ukraine. Russian attacks against civilians in Ukraine. Are you fucking kidding me? Get rid of this. What is this? Fuck off. Russian attacks in civilians against Ukraine, including systemic torture and killing in occupied regions, amounts to war crimes and possibly crimes against humanity, according to a report from the UN-backed inquiry on Thursday. The sweeping human rights report, released a year to the day after the Russian airstrike on a theater in Mariupol, killed hundreds sheltering inside, marked by highly unusual condemnation of a member of the UN Security Council. Those planes that were in the air, I couldn't believe until last minute that they were going to bomb us. Peaceful people, blah, blah, blah. You do have mothers and kids. How can you throw those bombs on us? Never forgive them ever. Blah, 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 blah. Here's the thing. The United States on the same exact thing. We bomb innocent people and do double taps, but there's never any outrage about when we do it. Potential crimes against humanity, the report cited repeated attack targeting Ukraine infrastructure since the fall that left hundreds of thousands without heat and electricity during the coldest months, as well as a systematic and widespread use of torture across multiple regions under Russian occupation. Wait, isn't that what Ukraine's accused of? Let's see, systemic and widespread use of torture when the Ukrainian military or Ukrainian people put a Russian up on a pole and duct tape them and beat them. That's not torture? Is that the Ukrainian government's been accused of that? But meanwhile, they project it onto the Russians for some reason? LOL, just the acronym, the UN, makes my brain take a walk. Those lying terrorists has no cred whatsoever. No, they don't. And the IMF, too, the US definitely runs the IMF. Unbelievable. There are elements of planning and availability of resources which indicate the Russian authorities may have committed torture as crimes against humanity. Former Norwegian Supreme Court and European Court human rights judge who led the investigation. I wonder if they investigated the accusation against the Ukrainians and their war crimes. My guess is no. They only focused on the Russian because the U.S. told them to. The investigation also found crimes against Ukrainians on Russian territory, including deported Ukrainian children who were prevented from reuniting with their families. A filtration system, aimed at singling out Ukrainians for detention and torture in inhumane detention conditions. A commission of inquiry is the most powerful tool used by the UN-backed Human Rights Council to scrutinize abuses and violations around the world. The investigation released Thursday was set up during an urgent debate shortly after Russia's invasion last year. Russia did not respond to the inquiry appeals to investor information. Most of the abuses highlighted by the investigation were already known, and the report is far from the first to accuse Russia of war crimes. However, the inquiry findings come with the imprimatur of the international community. The experts work under a mandate overwhelmingly created last year by the Human Rights Council, which bring together governments of 47 UN member countries. Most, who served as president of the International Tribunal, established to prosecute genocide cases and massacre from Rwanda's ethnic Tutsi minority in 1994, said investigators created a list of individuals held accountable for human rights violations in Ukraine. I wonder if the Ukrainian government officials are in that list. My guess is no. He said that the list would be submitted to the relevant authorities on this issue, but the team acknowledged the difficulties of investigation involving a permanent member of the UN Security Council. Ultimately, a report may add to efforts to boost accountability for crimes committed in the war, whether by the International Criminal Court or some individual countries that have taken on the right to apply universal jurisdiction to prosecute atrocities wherever they may take place. Blah blah blah. Blah. That's that. So yeah, apparently the Russians are the bad guys. The Ukrainians are the good guy. Whoops. Let me actually share this again. And we all just have to accept it. Because that's what the International Criminal Court in the West says. And the rest of the world has to say, oh, yes, sir, absolutely. The Russians commit war crimes. Even though the Ukrainians are accused of very similar war crimes that the Russians are accused of. But that investigation didn't show that. I guarantee you. In fact, the Ukrainians were not investigated at all. So they're the good guys. They're the heroes in this scenario. According to my Twitter handle, follow me on Twitter, by the way, at AngelJRivera08, right there. Make sure you follow me if you haven't already. Only if the U.S. provides the evidence. Well, yeah, the U.S. controls everything. They control IMF, they control NATO, they control the ICC, they control the UN. We provide the budget for most of those international organizations. But nonetheless, the U.S. doesn't have to provide anything. And The Hague doesn't run the world. Let's see. I'm stupid, apparently. And it's only 8:52 a.m. for me, whatever. Great, another criminal war defender. How much does he pay you? I responded to this tweet. Let me show you my response. Here it is. I wish I was getting paid in Russian rubles, but no, I don't get paid. The world has to abide by the makeup on demand laws base order, but those Chinese department traps, Yeah, I mean, the Chinese are also the bad guys. Remember, they're evil, they're communists, they're communists in name only today. I mean, honestly, they pretty much have a capitalistic system in Russia. I just spit all over myself. What the fuck? I can't even speak properly. I'm spitting all over myself. No, I'm not drunk today, by the way. Just to be clear, I haven't had a drink in a few days. Honestly, I wish I was getting paid in Russian rubles. Their ruble's worth more than U.S. dollar. It's more stable right now. So that was my response to this tweet, a ridiculous tweet. Let's go back. He's blowing up children hospitals for brains. I think there's sarcasm there. Right? All right, let's see. LOL, nice try. Emojis for some reason. What does the U.S. have to do with it? Really? Really, like I said before, the U.S. controls the whole world. We have military bases in what, nearly every country on Earth except for Russia, China. Hell, we're even in Africa for some reason. I mean, if U.S. AFRICOM, have you have ever noticed that whether mainstream media? Let me put this up here. I'm sure you have. Whatever mainstream media says at absolute projection all the time, it's enough to drive one insane. Yeah, I've noticed that. It's projection. Everything that the Russians have done, or allegedly doing, we've done. Even worse, in fact. And on top of that, the Ukrainians also been accused of very similar war crimes by independent journalists that are in Ukraine that have filmed this stuff. But that gets ignored. Like, oh, Ukrainians commit war crimes? No, no, no. We just put that over here. They're the good guys. They're the heroes here. We want to get the Russians. We want to take down Vladimir Putin. So let's investigate their alleged war crimes. That's what they're doing. It's none but projection. Do you ever fall down when you forget to breathe? Yeah, and again, I mean, just calling somebody at my door. You know what? Give me 1 second. I just lost my sandwich. Sorry about that. I must have imagined it. I thought I heard somebody at my door. So let's keep going with this. LOL. Crimes against humanity are doing a piss poor job. Then, where's didn't know the International Criminal Court only accepted evidence from the U.S. The U.S. controls everything, motherfucker. What is it with these Twitter accounts? Like pretending that the U.S. doesn't control the most of their international institutions. Are you kidding me? It's like just a few days ago there was an article in the New York Times claiming that the U.S. had evidence for all this, and they refused to release it. Now all of a sudden, the UN investigation finds the same exact thing that the U.S. claimed they had evidence for. What a coincidence, huh? Ridiculous. This is enough to drive you mad. I wonder. I often wonder how it feels to function with no brain cells, and I see people like you. Oh, thank you. Get fucked now. Okay. Look at the people who back Zelensky. You're sitting there pretending to stand with an installed leader. If you're so adamant, why don't you go there and fight? Actually, let me retweet this. I actually like this tweet. 100%. Spend 2 minutes on the internet. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but okay. Hooten apologist entered the chat. Get fucked. The Hague bringing charges means the U.S. doesn't have to prove anything. It's up to the UN now. Yeah, like I said many times, handing the U.S. handed their alleged evidence to the UN, and the UN based that on filing charges at The Hague for alleged war crimes that Putin has committed. And I put that in quotations because there's really no evidence for it. But we have to take down Vladimir Putin because he's an actual threat to U.S. hegemony. So that's what's going on there. Putin apologism and American exceptionalism in one tweet. Impressive. Um, I don't know where the American exceptionalism part comes in. Oh, no. To be fair, I do know where it comes in. He's alleging the reason because America doesn't control the world. So he thinks I'm an American exceptionalist because I think that America controls the world, which they do, motherfucker. That's the thing, they do. They could, like I said it ad nauseum now. They control the INN, the UN, the INN, the ICC. Sorry, the INN. Yeah, they control INN. Pfft, ridiculous. They control the ICC, the UN, the IMF, etc., etc., etc. All the international organizations they control. So yeah, that's what's going on there. This is hilarious. This counts. Response to me is a tweet from a Ukrainian government official. Let's read this. Wheels of justice are turning. I applaud the ICC decision to issue arrest warrants for Vladimir Putin and Maria Lvovna Belova for forcible transfer of Ukrainian children. International criminals will be held accountable for stealing children in international crimes and other international crimes. So that's not evidence. That's just who is this? Minister of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine. Okay, so the foreign minister from Ukraine. That's evidence that Somehow, my tweet is not true or false or ridiculous or something. That's not evidence. That is absolutely not evidence. In my imaginary world, all these shitlets becomes meteors. Yeah. I wish, but they're not, unfortunately. They're real people. It appears that many in the U.S. love Russia but hate China. I'm not funding the government or my own, the U.S. for that matter, except to use U.S. talking points and propaganda in order to justify the charges that the INN again INN ICC have filed. Fuck. I don't think you know what international means. Oh, I do. I know exactly what international means, and I explained it ad nauseum there. Wow, did you really just tweet that? Murdering, raping, and torture of citizens of Bucha alone are documented. Have you documented all Ukraine's war crimes? No. Conveniently, you haven't documented any of that. Everybody's focused on Russia's war crimes, alleged war crimes at least. The U.S. isn't the only country that exists, my man. No, but the U.S. controls all the international organizations. Like I said ad nauseum. I'm not going to keep saying it. Dumb. Turn on the news. It literally is. Okay, that's not to me. Then when is Bush getting indicted for war crimes? Good point. I had to retweet that. I didn't see this tweet. There's so many tweets I've gotten. There's a few that had a good point. So you're saying that you're pro-Russia. You defend Russia with your life. I hear you're recruiting. Go East, young man. No. If you are such a Ukraine supporter, as you can see, this motherfucker has a Ukraine flag there. Then why don't you go to Why don't you go to Ukraine? Yeah, you're such a Ukraine supporter. You're pro-Ukraine. You're pro-Ukrainian Nazis. Just go. You go. Don't tell me to go. You go. You be a man. It says grab your balls and go to Ukraine. The U.S. isn't a party to the ICC. They withdrew under Bush 43 for reasons. Yeah, but the U.S. is still a party to the UN, right? So, in a roundabout way, they hand the evidence to the UN, alleged evidence, and then the UN based that on filing charges against Putin in the International Criminal Court in The Hague. So again, there's no point there. I think you're confusing sticking your nose in everyone's business with running the world. Imagine being a year into a horrific Ukrainian invasion / genocide. Are you kidding me? And thinking that there's no evidence for war crime. What genocide? You mean a genocide that the Ukrainian government is committing against Russians? Ethnic Russians in Ukraine? That's a genocide I discussed on Wednesday. Some people say that you're over the top, and that's fine. But basically, the last 10 years of bombing ethnic Russians in Ukraine and trying to kill the Russian language in Ukraine, that sounds like a genocide to me. But let's ignore all that evidence. I stand with Ukraine. Some random account there. Uh, the U.S. isn't involved in this, Angel. It's an international court outside of U.S. jurisdiction. Again, like I said, the U.S. in a roundabout way, the U.S. allegedly had this evidence a few days ago, and then somehow this indictment happens in the International Criminal Court. How did it happen? Coincidence? The most in-demand currency in the world, the same. Yeah, that's my tweet. It has to be my tweet about I want to take Russian rubles. All right, retweet that. Yeah, Nazis. Yeah, the Ukrainians are definitely Nazis. The years before the SMO mainstream media here had loaded at least 10 major news stories stating how corrupt Ukraine was, that is infested with Nazis. As soon as they started, those stories didn't exist. Yeah, again, it's not just, it's the U.S. media too, the Western media. 2014, 15, and 16, there were nothing but articles in the New York Times, Washington Post, LA Times, etc., the corporate media, how Ukraine was full of Nazis and how they were committing war crimes. As soon as this war started, that all turned around and they ignored all those old stories they did that were true, by the way. They ignored all those old stories that they did, and all of a sudden, oh, there we go. Now all of a sudden, the Russians are the war criminals, while the Ukrainians are heroes and are good guys, and we have to give them all our money. We have to give them all our money. If charges are to be made against Putin, whatever criterion is applied to him must be brought to bear against other leaders, and above all, against the American presidents. Excuse me. Its hands bathed in blood up to the elbow. U.S. empire gestures at its enemies and cry war crimes. 100% right. In fact, it's so many tweets I didn't see it, so I had to retweet that. You'll follow her? No, I don't follow. I mean, I should, but I'll do that later. Somebody doesn't know what international mean. Doesn't take very long to research what the ICC does and who it consists of. Also, if you're putting down sod, the green side faces upward. What? I don't know what the fuck that means. But I'll respond to the first part. Again, the U.S. controls all these international organizations, so and we provide most of the budget for them. So what are you talking about? What are you talking about? I mean, all this is just embarrassing tweets from troll accounts. How dumb must we be? We can earn money for our opinion. Where can I sign up? Actually, I don't earn any money for this. Not yet. These streams, I haven't earned a dime yet. I barely have 180 subscribers, so I don't earn shit. So he's acting like I'm earning money. I wish I did. Oh, by the way, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, link in the description box below. If you haven't already, so I appreciate that. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you do. I make no money from this, so your fucking door closed by itself. Alright, let's keep going. Oh, this is to me. Okay. Hi, it looks like you don't know what the fuck you're talking about and should probably take the goddamn seat. Would you like some help with that? That's projection. You should probably look in the mirror before you say anything to me about that. Rolling eyes emoji. What do you think the UN is? I responded to that, and that's it. So, yep. So, bunch of crap from troll accounts, nonsense. And it's just embarrassing. That was all embarrassing, by the way. Each and every one of those tweets. And I'm not going to I responded here. I'm not going to respond personally because I don't have time for that. I actually have a life outside of Twitter. So I'm not going to get into troll battles with trolls, that are pro-Ukraine war and pro-Ukraine Nazis. All right, so now I have another story I wanted to talk about. Here we go. Oh, this is interesting. Came out today. Breaking news: Hunter Biden countersues computer repair shop owner who had the laptop with provocative data and images, alleging invasion of privacy. So Hunter Biden suing the owner of the computer shop that suing the owner at the computer shop that he released his laptop and all this information, even though he abandoned that laptop. He forgot about it. So I don't know. There's not much. Hunter Biden doesn't have much standing here. The worst part is they believe the actual crap they're spewing. Yeah, they really do believe it. That's the problem, which is infuriating because they just read or watch corporate media, or they get their talking points from the administration directly, or these accounts. So, because I'm pretty sure a lot of these accounts are Democratic Party hack accounts, or troll accounts they create in order to respond to certain things. President Biden's son filed a countersuit in U.S. District Court in Delaware, saying John Paul Mac Isaac had no legal right to copy and distribute private information. The action comes at a sensitive time with House Republicans wrapping up their investigation of Hunter Biden and the president nearing a likely announcement of a re-election bid. All right, so basically, Hunter Biden suing the owner of the computer shop who released all his information. Biden ran out of contributors looking at suit for income support. Yeah, he's trying to sue because he needs money. So that wouldn't be surprised that's the case. But what's interesting about this, in most states, there are laws that when let's say you take your computer to a repair shop, as Hunter Biden did, and you never pick it up. After certain days, I think in New Jersey is 90 days, but after a certain amount of days, each state is different though. After 90 days, let's say, the property reverts to being the owner of the shops. The laptop's his property, essentially. So he can do whatever he wants with it. He can throw it out, he can sell it, or he can release any information that's on there, especially if it's a public figure like Hunter Biden. They can do whatever they want. So this lawsuit probably end up being dismissed eventually. Or at least the countersuit part. There's some interesting responses here. Wait, so it was his laptop? Weren't you guys on the Russian disinformation train? Yeah. Now the Washington Post turns right around and oh, well, Hunter Biden, obviously it was his laptop, and now he's suing for millions of dollars because the owner of the shop dared to release information on his laptop, even though Hunter Biden abandoned his laptop, by the way. So remember that. Jim Stinson says abandoned property. Exactly, he abandoned it. So it depends of the state, but usually it's 90 days. If you don't pick up your property in 90 days, it's abandoned. It's considered abandoned, and it belongs to the owner of the shop. Good luck with that. Hi, Washington Post. You told me at one point. You told me this laptop was fake at one point, so this is very confusing. Yeah, the Washington Post or one of the journals or the newspapers that were hyperventilating about how this was a fake story and they had no business excuse me, that they had no business reporting on this, and none of them did. The only ones reported on the New York Post. No one else even touched this story because they didn't want to be involved in quote unquote Russian propaganda. This had to be a tough one for WAPO to cover. Yeah, I'm sure. What I mean, no, not really. They have no shame. The Washington Post has no shame. They'll just cover this like what that Hunter Biden filed a lawsuit because the owner of the shop stole his information and released it. So yeah. Oh, it turns out that we claimed that as Russian disinformation just a few years ago. Just ignore that part. That part we didn't report on that. That's not fact. That's apparently allegedly this is the contract. Hold on, this is I didn't see this. This is allegedly the contract Hunter Biden signed. And I say allegedly. In the bill, it says Hunter Biden, but again, I'm not 100% sure, so I'm not going to report it as Hunter Biden's contract. Literally, the contract he signed which states that the laptop not picked up within 90 days, see, after completion of services and abandoned property laws in every state in the country. Okay, so apparently 90 days is law in every state in the country, but let's look at the contract, though. Let's see, make it a little closer. Hunter Biden, see, the bill says to Hunter Biden. Quantity 1, item info level or labor, looks like. Hardware signature level 1, $85. Grand total $85. Hunter Biden signature, allegedly. Uh, the Mac Shop Inc. has quoted blah, 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 during the time. Where's that part? I want to see it. It's kind of blurry, so I don't know if I. Oh, here it is. It's down here in the bottom, but I don't think you guys can really see it here. Let me try. Yeah, that's farther. It's here in the bottom. It's like the last paragraph. It says, I can't see exactly. It says the mat. Damn, it's there in the bottom because it says within the Mac shop after 90 days notification completed services, it'll be treated as abandoned, and you agree to hold the Mac shop something in event of a non-payment. The Mac shop reserves the right to remove any equipment or parts installed. La la la. See, it's really blurry, but it's actually there. Actually, it's there. It's just that it's extremely blurry, so you can't really read it properly. And yeah, it literally says it in the contract. So Hunter Biden has no standing. This lawsuit is it's probably desperation to stop the Republican investigations into this, which I'm sure are coming at some point, which I will definitely cover because it's good content. Let's see what else here. It's about time HB started suing. Enough's enough. Partisan. Okay. Gifting this article. Yep. So that's that. So Hunter Biden suing. He's suing in order to try to get some money, as one people in the chat said. And yep. So Hunter Biden is just a loser son of the president of the United States, and that's all that he's known for. Well, let's see what else I can cover because I'm actually yeah, I already did this. Oops, no. I already covered this, so get rid of that. That's just a bunch of crap from Joe Biden, Xi Jinping. Oh, I'll cover this part. Hold on, this is my next story. Look at this shit. Donald Trump. This is Republican. This is a tweet from Republican Accountability. whatever this is. Let me see. We are Republicans and conservative defending pro-democracy. Ours, holding accountable those who tried to overturn the election, fighting against disinformation. Yeah, I guarantee this is some kind of hack or something. Like kind of like the Lincoln Project. That's what this is. I guarantee it's some sort of like Lincoln Project. They're like the Lincoln Project. Those hacky establishment Republicans from Washington. We present 1.5 minutes Tucker Carlson parroting Vladimir Putin. New video from Rap. Rap. Republican accountability. Jesus, they call themselves Rap. Ridiculous. Let me go back to the original. They call themselves Rap, like make Russia great again. Yeah, who is this guy? Recovering lawyer, contributing columnist, Washington Post. Okay, where's the Washington Post? Of course. Now, Republican accountability, or RAP. I love that name, RAP. Ridiculous. Saying Donald Trump sides with Russia. The greatest threat to Western civilization today is not Russia. It's probably more than anything else. Anything else ourselves. Again, where is he wrong? It's the amazing part about this. Where is Trump wrong? Yes, Donald Trump is full of crap and a hypocrite on this. He's continued a lot of the wars, and he's been an imperialist just like every other U.S. president. But he's not wrong in his rhetoric, though. Where is he wrong? I would love these the establishment Republican pricks to tell me where is he wrong. They're the definition of American exceptionalism. Jeez. Now, let's listen to this. What, 30 seconds? Yeah, we can listen to this.
And our foreign policy establishment keeps trying to pull the world into conflict with a nuclear-armed Russia based on the lie that Russia represents our greatest threat. But the greatest threat to Western civilization today is not Russia. It's probably, more than anything else, ourselves and some of the horrible USA-hating people that represent us. Our foreign policy is...
Okay. So again, where is he wrong? Where is he wrong? I'm amazed. I'm amazed at how they can tweet this stuff out. They can tweet this shit out and act like they nailed it. Like they own Donald Trump somehow. They didn't own him. He's right. Where is he wrong? Like, where is he wrong? Is he... Please, give me some sort of information, some evidence telling me he's wrong. That the greatest threat in the greatest threat to Western civilization is probably more than anything ourselves. Where is it? Well, the United States has done a lot of fucked up things since World War II, or even during World War II, like the internment of Japanese or all the war crimes that were committed during World War II. And somehow we're supposed to be the good guys? Not just say, okay, Korea, Vietnam, let's see. There's so many wars, I can't remember all of them. The Korean War, the Vietnam War, the first Iraq War, the bombings in Yugoslavia, the second Iraq War, Afghanistan, Libya, Syria, the bombings in Africa. I said Libya, but there's other bombings. Like, I forget where exactly in Africa. There's so many wars that I can't even keep them all straight since World War II. Especially now after 9/11, the last 20 years, I can't even keep them straight in my head. Now Ukraine, that we're ordering proxy wars in Ukraine now. We're funding them at least. So it's unbelievable how they think they got Donald Trump here. This is somehow going to hurt him. It's just ridiculous. Let me cover this one now. Who is I've never heard of her. Politics girl, political junkie who believes in truth, facts, and the American experiment. I am I'm not going to promote her social media. Yeah, she's just a hacky Democrat. It seems like this was 5 days ago, I guess, or 6 days ago. Yeah, 6 days ago now. So I'm going to play this real quick because I think it's 3 minutes. Ugh. They're really gonna put up with 3 minutes of this woman? Is psychotic. Look at her. She looks psychotic, doesn't she? She has like the eyes like this. Hold on. She talks like this. The Democrats are the most important party in the world, and the Democrats are and they're the all-time greatest, and Joe Biden's the best president we ever had. She has her eyes like this the entire time. I'm like, what the fuck? And she's psychotic. So I don't know how much of this I'll play, maybe until I can't take it anymore. Look at her. She's like begging. She's psychotic, man. And she looks psychotic when she talks like this.
Democrats, can we please stop talking about primarying Joe Biden? Who should run against Joe Biden? Will Democrats get behind Joe Biden? This many Democrats want an alternative to Joe Biden. Can we just not? The absolute last thing democracy needs right now is a Democratic primary.
God, the last thing that we need is a Democratic primary. The last thing democracy needs is a Democratic primary. Did she not listen to herself when she wrote that out? I'm pretty sure she has a script of some sort. Did she not read what she actually wrote or somebody wrote for her? I'm like, holy shit. Isn't the whole point of a democracy having primaries? But no, according to this psychotic woman, is like, nope, no primary, no primary. I mean, we got to go with Biden. We got to go with Biden. Let me go a little bit more with this, and then, I'm not going to play this entire thing.
We're in late stage capitalism with a corrupt Supreme Court on a knife's edge between.
Oh, okay. Then why do you want to elect Joe Biden if we're in late stage capitalism? He's the one that caused a lot of these problems. So why are you insisting on running Joe Biden again?
Autocracy and democracy, and people want to spend $100 million to undermine our successful incumbent.
Who wants to spend $100 million? Because the only primary challenge that I know was the only primary challenge I know of is Marianne Williamson, and she's a joke. So who wants to spend $100 million? No one's going to Marianne Williamson $100 million. I guarantee. Marianne Williamson $100 million. I guarantee you, no one's giving her a dime, unless you're just a Bernie Sanders progressive who gets tricked again, like you did in 2016 and 2020.
When the alternative is the twice impeached criminal ex-president or the man who is single-handedly turning Florida into a fascist dictatorship? Why? I know people are excited for fresh young leaders with bright new ideas, but those fresh young leaders will never get a chance if we don't protect democracy now. The fact is, Joe Biden has gotten more accomplished in 2 years than any president in the history of presidents.
Really? What did Biden do? What did he do other than that? And when his first 100 days, when he gave out more stimulus checks, what did he do? Start a war in Ukraine? Or at least, contribute to starting a war in Ukraine, even though that war has been going on for 10 years. The Russians have decided to invade because we wouldn't back off the insistence on putting Ukraine in NATO. That was like the straw that broke the camel's back. But other than that, what has Biden done? I can't name a single thing Biden has done that is good and positive for the country. What, the Inflation Reduction Act? That was a joke. In fact, they plan on hiring 80,000 more IRS agents in order to nickel and dime poor middle class Americans. That's what the intention was, until all of a sudden, until Republicans came into control of the House, and it's very likely that it will get repealed, hopefully, because we don't need any more IRS agents around.
In an increasingly cynical world, Joe Biden is a decent man.
A decent man who went after Anita Brown in order to protect Clarence Thomas. And this is like 30 years ago, but that's what he did. He brutalized Anita Brown during her testimony in Congress, or in the Senate. But somehow, Joe Biden's a decent man. Let's also not ignore Tara Reid, what he did to Tara Reid all those years ago, back in the 90s. So let's not ignore that either. So a decent man, and also his creepy behavior towards children for decades now, the way he touches them and the way he smells their hair and the way he whispers in their ear, he's a creepy motherfucker. And somehow now he's a decent man? Incredible. It's outrageous. But here's the thing. When she talks about how Joe Biden is the best chance for Democrats to win, she's not wrong. She's 100% right, unfortunately. Joe Biden is the best chance to defeat Donald Trump in 2024. He is the best chance, even though Joe Biden can barely function. It looks like he's going to die any second, but he is their best chance, because who's going to beat Donald Trump? Kamala Harris, she fell flat on her face when she ran for president. She didn't get a single fucking delegate. Tulsi Gabbard got more delegates than her. That's how embarrassing Kamala Harris' campaign is. Pete Buttigieg, Android Pete, who sounds like an android when he talks and when he walks, somehow he's going to become president? He's going to beat Donald Trump? You fucking kidding me? Who else? AOC? Pfft, she's too young, and she even if she were old enough to become president, she has no chance. She only appeals to the liberals in the Northeast and in California. She has no appeal in the rest of the country. Who else? Who else? Gavin Newsom, that greasy motherfucker, he has no chance either. Andrew Cuomo. I mean, Democrats have nobody. They don't have a single one goddamn politician that can run for president and defeat Donald Trump realistically. Because Donald Trump's going to be a nominee for Republicans. Ron DeSantis has no chance. Who else? John Bolton has no chance. Nikki Haley has no chance. Mike Pence has no chance when he announces. So it's going to be Trump. It's going to be Trump against Biden most likely again, unless Biden doesn't run. If Biden doesn't run, Democrats are fucked because they don't have anybody that can defeat Trump. Not a single soul right now can defeat Trump. The hell? Why is Siri fucking like recording everything I say? That was weird. I looked down on my watch and Siri is like recording everything I said. Did this turn on by itself? You know what? Have you guys ever heard of the Siri 3 a.m. challenge? It's creepy as hell. I mean, I've seen a few videos of that. Just randomly looking through stuff, and it's creepy as hell what Siri answers sometimes at 3 in the morning for some reason. Maybe those videos are fake. Haven't tried them myself. Maybe I should. But yeah, it's creepy as hell, some of the shit she says. Alright, let's see. What else can I cover here? I might wrap up here. Because I do have to cook dinner soon. Let's see. Is there anything else I need to cover? Or if that's it, I'll just wrap up now. Because I don't want to just randomly start like rambling to you guys. Should I cover? I think I have one more story, and then I'll just wrap up there. If I remember it, I don't really have time looking for it. If I don't remember, I might just save it for Monday because I'm getting tired of just sitting here. Getting goddamn tired of just sitting here. So yeah, I'm gonna end up wrapping up now. Because it is Friday and I'm kind of tired. So let me get rid of this. There you go. I want to thank everyone for watching again. Greatly appreciate it. Greatly appreciate all the interactions in the chat. So you guys make sure you subscribe to my channel. The link's in the description box below. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. I already gave you the let me just do the shameless plug real quick for my Twitter page. There it is right there. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I know I enjoyed doing this. That's why I've been streaming ever since about a week ago. And I'm eventually going to clip out some of the stuff from the stream uploaded as individual videos because I haven't uploaded videos on my channel in nearly 10 days, like standalone videos. So eventually I'm going to clip out some clips that I like personally, upload them separately to YouTube. So, by the way, if you haven't subscribed to INN channels, add links in the description as well. Make sure you subscribe to our channels. Great content out there for you guys. And hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I know I did. And I'll see you guys on Monday, most likely. I'll be streaming again for episode 6. Thanks for watching.